Anyway, we're thrilled to tell you about our digital upskilling initiative. Vivi, go ahead and go to the next slide. So the digital upskilling initiative in Ventura County, it is a $5 million initiative that we received funding thanks to the work of a local assembly member, Jackie Irwin, in the 21-22 state budget to create a digital upskilling pilot project for our county. It was originally a 3-year initiative, but we've expanded it to a 4th year. So it's running through the end of this year through December 31st of 2025. It was not just to create a pilot program for Ventura County, but it was to test it out, get it up and going, and make it so we could spread it around California and around the nation, what we had learned so others could benefit from the program as well. EDC's role in the initiative is really outlined like this. We conducted the research. This was a kind of an interesting project in that we actually had the funding, but there was no project design around it. So we had to conduct a bunch of research in the county to really understand what programs existed, what needs were unmet. And then we developed the program, working with all of our adult schools. We developed the curriculum. We then implemented the program. We've scaled it across the county, and now we're expanding it across the rest of the state and the nation. There were 3 groups that we identified needed some programming to really help fill gaps in what was happening. So the Computer Basics program, this is what we're going to talk about today and spend our time. But this is a program that we designed for people who have really no digital skills at all, likely don't own a computer. English may not be their primary language, and they really don't have baseline digital skills that would help them get a better job. We also created a program where we paid for certifications through CompTIA and also AWS cloud certifications for people who were already employed and wanted to get an industry recognized credential in order to be able to move up in their careers. And then finally, we had a 3rd cohort of small business owners and entrepreneurs who have businesses such as, for example, like a food truck or fishing charter boat, and but they didn't have any online presence. So we've created a program to help those small businesses get their businesses online and really begin marketing their businesses as well. We'll talk just a little bit more about that at the very end of our presentation. But we really want to focus on our Computer Basics class today.
Thank you, Jamie. And I'll talk a little bit and start diving into what this Computer Basics course is and also the resources that we have available for you all. So first, I'm going to talk a little bit about the need for a Computer Basics course. Then I'm going to talk about the course overview, what's included in the curriculum, what's included in the replication toolkit that we'll be sharing. Then also how to teach the course. So how we've structured it. There is some flexibility within it, but we've learned a lot along the way, and we're happy to share that with you. And then lastly, we'll talk about the replication toolkit resources. So we'll tell you how to access this Computer Basics resource replication toolkit, and then also talk about the Get Your Small Business Online course that Jamie mentioned briefly, that we will also share that as well. We won't dive into that course because we don't have time today, but we will share as well how you can get access to the Get Your Small Business Online course. So first, I'm going to talk a little bit about the background for the Computer Basics course. That Computer Basics course, like Jamie mentioned, is really for folks who are underserved by current digital upskilling courses and who really have little to no experience with computers. These are folks who really don't have the confidence to be able to get on a Zoom call like this and be able to log on and be able to communicate with others effectively. So this was part of what we wanted to make sure that we were really reaching out to those communities and making sure that they felt served by the courses that were available in Ventura County and also more broadly as we thought about how this course could be used in other areas. This program was also partly informed by the resources available in the Digital Skills Library, which will be talked about in the second presentation, but it definitely was something that we built on from other available resources and tried to bring together something that was innovative that would be useful for folks in the area, but also across the country. I'm going to talk a little bit too about why digital upskilling is needed and why a course like this is so important. And I think For all of us, this might seem like very, obvious things, but I think even the most obvious things sometimes are important to just say out loud. Especially because of the pandemic, I think for a lot of folks that really highlighted the digital divide caused by digital technologies being used in every aspect of our lives. And that was something that we really took note of when thinking about what this course could serve. Secondly, digital skills also disproportionately impact marginalized communities, specifically women, people of color, and non-English speakers who may not have access to the same resources that may be available for others to be able to bridge that digital skills gap. This may have been true even before the pandemic, but I think during the pandemic became even more true that everyone realized every single job. I think there's pretty much almost no job that is untouched by technology and by digital skills. And so employers really need those basic digital skills training, even for their entry-level employees. Also, as technology changes, current workers need to continue to learn digital skills and learn about how automation is impacting the workplace. That's something that's going to be a continuous learning process and is constantly changing. We will talk about this later too, but our computer basics course, we've had to iterate and change and update, and all of those things are constantly changing. And so we felt like this course, in the way that it's structured, was really responsive to how things were going to continue to change. In terms of the need for this course, as you all know, I'm sure these are all things that you could not live without: having your computer, having your phone, even for just applying for a job, searching for a job, even interviewing for a job. If you ever had one of those interviews where you get asked questions by a computer, you know this, it can be awkward. But these are all things that are just part of life now, that we have to be able to use technology to be able to access jobs, be able to work remotely, earn higher wages, especially for a lot of these digital skills jobs. These are where folks can really move up and be able to earn higher wages than they were before. Even just for reserving airline tickets, going anywhere, you really need to be able to use technology. And so these are all the things that we're seeing as part of the need for this course, not just in the workplace, but also in daily life. So that was something that we kept in mind as we thought about planning this course. In terms of the target audience for this course, we were thinking about adult learners with limited to no digital or computer skills. We know, especially for folks who are under 18, maybe they grew up with a cell phone or they had cell phones available to them. That may not necessarily be true, especially for adult learners. Learners who also need computer skills to get a job or to move into a higher paying job. That was definitely a large part of the audience of our course, were folks who wanted to be able to move into other jobs, wanted to be able to apply to other jobs, but didn't have the necessary skills to do so, or maybe they did, but they just really didn't have that confidence yet. We also wanted participants to have basic literacy skills. So that was really important, is that they did need to be able to read and write to be able to take this course. So that's one of the prerequisites. And we'll talk about that as well as part of the toolkit, is that there are some basic skills that folks need to have to be able to take this course. And for right now, the course is only offered in English and in Spanish, and that's part of the replication toolkit. We are looking for funding in the future to be able to replicate the course in other languages, because we know that's very much a need. But as of right now, they need to be either English or Spanish speakers. In terms of what participants learn, so these 8 here listed are the units of study for the course. So I'll just go over these briefly. First is basic computer intro. And I know for a lot of us, this may seem like, something that you learn or you kind of already know, but I will say even some of these things, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that that's what that piece of the computer was actually called, right? And that's helpful when you're calling someone from IT and trying to explain an issue that you're having. So really just giving people the fundamental building blocks to be able to learn about the item that they're using and be able to interact with digital skills and digital technology. So we talked about that in the basic computer intro, that first unit of study. Then secondly, exploring the computer, understanding computer settings, using a mouse, also setting up Google accounts and email. So folks who joined this course typically did not have an email account. And so that was something that they helped set up for them, and also teach them how to receive emails, how to send emails, also how to set up and work their Chromebooks, which we'll talk about in a minute. So everybody in the course did get a Chromebook. And so how to set that up, how to work a Chromebook, also how to search the internet safely. So to make sure that you're not clicking on any links that may take you to a place where you don't want to go, on a website, or it may, give you bad malware into your computer, things like that. So making sure folks know how to browse safely, hyperlinks, things like that. Also how to use the internet in terms of two-factor identification, completing online forms, all the things that we have to do on computers. Next, also word processing. So that was something as well that folks learned in the class, was creating, saving, and using documents. And then lastly, video calls. So logging in and navigating a virtual call, just like this. So how the course is taught, and this was part of the need that we saw for this course, is that there really were a lot of longer courses, like semester-long or year-long courses that were introductory courses to computers. But for a lot of folks who don't have the confidence or don't have the time, it just seemed really intimidating to go into a year-long course. So we felt like creating a shorter course that was 6 to 8 weeks, 24 hours of instruction total, would be just enough. And from the responses that we've gotten, it definitely has been a very good amount to kind of bite off as your first introductory course. So it's taught by an instructor in a classroom setting. This is definitely a course that is meant to be in person, especially for a lot of these folks who don't know how to navigate Zoom calls and things like that yet. This is definitely a course that needs to be taught in person, and we recommend that the max class size is about 15 students, and having an instructor helping as well is definitely very ideal. Currently, the curriculum material is available in English and Spanish. We've taught the course both in English and Spanish, and then in English with a Spanish classroom assistant for folks who are bilingual. Learners completed the course using a Chromebook, and it was provided direct to community sites when possible. So we were really intentional about partnering with the adult schools in Ventura County, as well as elementary schools, juvenile justice centers, other places where we could be making sure that we're reaching people where they are, because we know that transportation is such a challenge. And lastly, and very importantly, is that this course was free to all learners. We're still currently delivering this course in Ventura County, and this is still true. It's completely free, and everyone who completes the course does get a Chromebook. So why Chromebooks? We got this question a lot during our course and the planning process as well, and it's something that was thought about a lot. And I know Jamie was part of this program a little bit before I started, so he can also share a little bit more about the conversation around Chromebooks, but it was definitely a very deliberate choice. Chromebooks are cheaper to purchase and maintain, and also they don't need to buy software. So we felt like that was easier for students who in the long term wanted to keep that computer, wouldn't have to pay again for different suites on their computer. So that was one part of it. Another part is that a lot of the folks taking the courses have children and grandchildren who are using Chromebooks in schools. And so it just made it easier for them to learn one device versus having to learn multiple different kinds of devices. And it will allow them to be able to help their children, or their children could potentially help them as well with navigating how to use the Chromebook. So that was a big part of it. And also just the ease of use, which can really help adult learners as they're trying to learn something, just making it a lot easier. Also the fact that it's integrated with a lot of Google Suite products, which are usually free and more available for adult learners. So that was a big part of it. In terms of the impact to date, we're very, very excited. We're going to blow past this number now. I think this number may be even a little bit behind us now, because we're still taking courses and teaching courses, and folks are still taking it and graduating from it. But we've trained over 600 students to date, over 40 classes to date. Over half have been native Spanish speakers, 3/4 people of color, 70% female, and the average age is 50. So that we're really excited about that. We've been able to serve way more people than we hoped we would be able to, and just really making sure that we're accessing the folks who really need this course the most. So we were very, very excited about that. In terms of understanding where this data was after the course and also during it, we did a pilot for the first time that we did this course with computer basics, and West Ed evaluated the course and found statistically significant learning gains from students, which really encouraged us. And so from that, we understood that folks were really learning and gaining more confidence in understanding their digital skills. In addition to the evaluation that West Ed did, Cause Impacts, our consultant who has been working with us, also did a 6-month follow-up to all students who participated in that pilot that West Ed evaluated, and also got some qualitative feedback. So what we learned is that most participants are still using their Chromebooks even 6 months after the course, which is really exciting for folks who didn't have computers before. Now they're starting to integrate that into their lives. They also said that the course gave them confidence to try new things. 80% said they wanted to take another computer class. We had a lot of folks asking, what class can I take in the community college in my area or in the adult school? Are there any classes that I can take after this? And so after they took that course with us for 6 to 8 weeks, then they felt that confidence to go to a semester long or a year long course. Over half of them, a little over half, said it helped them get a better job. They also just felt like they were able to access a lot of different things online, like online scheduling, remote work, and other online resources. So that just really encouraged us that a lot of this is really just confidence and helping people feel like, it's really scary when the world is moving so fast and you're trying to catch up to that. And so we felt like this course really did serve its purpose of being that bridge for folks who are trying to get into learning deeper digital skills. And I'm going to pass it to Jamie to talk a little bit about some of these stories.
Great, thank you, Vivian. Yes, we've had some really encouraging stories to hear from individuals. I won't take time to read the quotes. You can look at that. But really, I think the most important thing to take from this is what our philosophy is in delivering this program. We're not the education system. We're the local EDC, right? So we really want there to be a good learning culture in Ventura County. And what we want to do is get people on a path of continuous learning. So this course, as Vivian said, the most important thing it gives, is it Microsoft, is it Chromebook? It gives people confidence and it gets them connected to the education system where they might not be. And it gets them on a path to learn. And it really gives them the confidence that they can succeed in a course and that they can develop the digital skills that they need to be successful, and that they're not going to break a computer when they start working on it, right? So that's probably the most important takeaway in my mind. But people who did complete the course, they were able to get better jobs. They were relying on other people at work. We've heard quite a few stories about that. They're able to do jobs themselves. They're able to help their children with homework and many of the things that Vivian talked about early on as the need for computer skills. So we do have this replication toolkit. This is a QR code. Please, there is absolutely no cost whatsoever. We encourage you to take a look at it, download it. Everything that you need, the bilingual curriculum is involved here or included here. The student activities and the worksheets. Rachel, I saw your question about the assessment. That's actually included in here as well. We have assessments built in after each class to show that people have learned the tasks that were the focus of the lesson. The instructor's guide, everything that you are going to need to deliver this course is available. Again, there's no cost at all to use this program, and frankly, there are no requirements. We do ask, though, if you use the program, we would just love to hear about how you use it and what your success is. Who are you teaching? How many classes do you have? What language are you teaching it in? We just want to learn about how the curriculum is being used so we can report that back to our funder and the others in the state who are tracking this program as well. And then, hey, if you have room in the presentation somewhere to give us a shout out, that's awesome too. Would love that. We mentioned briefly that there is a Get Your Small Business Online course. We also have a replication toolkit for that, also free to use, that includes all of these tools. And here is the QR code for that as well. Would encourage you to check it out. So I guess one thing that I'm not sure we really highlighted here that I would like to just hit on real quickly is the curriculum was developed by all of the adult schools in Ventura County. And we're told by the adult schools that that's the first time that they had all come together to develop and deliver one curriculum. So they've been wonderful partners at the adult schools. They've been our primary delivery source for the course as well. And of course, as Vivian said early on, we did take some of the resources that were available in the digital skills library and use that to help inform the curriculum as well as the student handbook also.